We're going to be talking about building trust with your clients. Travis, give me your 3 quick tips on building trust.
Oh my goodness, you got me on the spot. Pricing transparency.
Yeah.
Getting your questions out so the walls come down. Get everything out, any worries from the homeowner, client, and then I go back to walking in the house, scanning the environment, making sure you know pets, kids, whatnot.
Reading the room,
yeah.
Welcome to the Lasting Business Solutions Podcast, Indy's launchpad to sustain business success, growth, and leadership. My name's Renee Lucas. I am your host. And joining me today is my husband and co-owner of LCS Heating and Cooling, Travis Lucas.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back. And so today we're going to be talking about building trust with your clients. Way easier said than done, right?
100%.
So let's start out. We're going to kind of hit 3 big bullet points today, and we're going to start out with what do clients distrust, right? So obviously we do heating and air conditioning, but this is for any industry. It doesn't matter what your business is. People don't start out naturally trusting you. So Travis, what are some things that people, would you say, distrust about working with a business?
Oh, number one's definitely going to be price.
Price, number one. I see all the time on Facebook, people will say something like, can anybody recommend a photographer that's good but won't break the bank? Or can somebody recommend somebody to hang a new ceiling fan in my home that won't cost an arm and a leg?
Or the comment, I'm looking for a handyman. And usually what that means is cheap.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean a handyman's cheap, but that's the connotation.
Yes, it absolutely is. And so people are assuming that they're going to get taken advantage of. They think they're going to get ripped off. They think that they're going to pay way more than what they should, right? I always say too, cheap and good are not synonyms. Right?
They never cross.
No, they don't cross. They don't go together. But I would agree with you. I think that that's the number one thing that people distrust is price.
Yeah. And then what about, I guess, the old saying, it's not a saying, but PV versus AV, perceived value versus actual value.
Oh, that's really good.
But that's the problem. A lot of times is pricing is a perceived value from the consumer.
So here's the other thing too. In our business, we always think the value is greater than what somebody else does because we know, like take HVAC, for example, right? I could give a furnace or especially a humidifier a hug because I know what it does. I know how it saves me money. I know how it makes me comfortable, but other people don't see it that way. They see it as something that they have to have. It's a pain in the butt to have to spend money on, and it just heats their home. That's it, right? And so the perceived value for us as owners, and that's what we do every day, is naturally greater. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and we just had this discussion with a business owner. We were putting a system in, and I told him, I said, when we're done, to us, it's artwork. To you, it's just heating and cooling.
Yeah. It's just a big machine down
But
the
he saw it in the end, so the perceived value changed after he saw what was done. So that distrust of price, if you don't overcome that at the beginning, it's not good.
Yeah, because then you never do the project to prove it differently in the beginning, right?
Correct.
So how do you, thinking about things like people are afraid they're going to be taken advantage of, or how do you, like when you're talking with somebody, how do you try to overcome that at the beginning?
Well, first you have to sit down with the consumer. Yeah. Say it's us and we're in the house. You have a sit down conversation. It's not even really about the equipment.
Sure.
It's first off, it's give me your pain points. What are the expectations that you want to see on this outcome? And if you had a budget in so many words, are we on the same page? Right. Get that all out in the open, and then you start diving in later. But that price you've got to somehow work that the elephant in the room, the pricing. You have to get to it.
And it's best just to start. We say one of the tips that we're going to have later is to kind of be an open book, right? Yeah. Because if you don't, you tiptoe around everything and then you spend all this time together and then the price ends up being a surprise. As a consumer for any sort of service or product, a question that I personally feel really uncomfortable with is, well, what's your budget?
Yeah.
And the reason is because I feel like if somebody asks me that, if I give them a budget, then no matter what, they're going to make that their price. So say it's something that would be $200, but I said, well, $500. Now I'm afraid they're going to make it $500 and it would have been $200.
Yeah. And that does happen. And unfortunately in all industries, you leave that door open. So that's where the rapport comes in. You have to have a connection with the consumer.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you do you naturally feel good with this person? You know, a lot of people, and we can be this way, they'll let their pets determine whether you're a good person or not, right? Like we had somebody say once, ooh, I had to quarantine my dog. And so if I have to quarantine my dog from you, I don't trust you.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's a big distrust. Well, I had one yesterday though. The dog didn't like me, but I love dogs. So, but no, it's that you have different levels of distrust. That's another one.
Yeah.
But it's very tough. You've got to get in there and you got to break that wall down.
So let me ask you too about, I think another place that distrust comes from is just the fear of the unknown, of not knowing what to expect. Maybe, you know, I'm going to take our industry again. A lot of people have never been through the process of changing their furnace and air conditioner. So they don't know what to expect. They don't know how much time it's going to take. They don't know how messy it's going to be. They don't know how long we're going to be in their home. And so it's the fear of the unknown. And I would imagine it's like that in many other services or products that you buy or things like that. It's just that, like, I don't trust it yet because I don't know what to expect. How can you break through that at the beginning?
Well, first off, you better have a process and explain what it's going to what the process is going to look like from start to finish.
Right.
And if someone now can see into that process, they feel a little bit more comfortable. We just had our roof replaced. You didn't even get to see it.
No, and we've never been through that before.
No, we've never been through it. Well, we did our first house, remember, but this one, there was this roof was much larger, which means there were shingles everywhere. If you'd have come home and seen it, you'd be like, what in the world?
Oh my gosh.
Now, they had a process. They had tarps down. So those are those distrust. You don't know what's going on. And there is a fear of what am I going through?
Well, and I think too, like the first thing that I think about when we take about having a roof replaced, right, is can I let my dogs outside? Are there going to be nails all over the ground? Like, is old shingles going to be thrown off the roof? Are they going to, you know, what do I need to do with my dogs? That's my number one priority. And so I think as a business owner, trying to think about what might be important for that person's home that you're in. For some people, it might be small kids. For some people, it might be elderly parents that they're taking care of. For some people, it might be their animals. For some people, it might be their work schedule, right? So how can we address those things and maybe be a little proactive instead of waiting for people to ask us questions about it?
Yeah, because you can break down a distrust. You can break the distrust wall really quick if you see that there's a dog bowl in the house. The number one question is, do I need to shut this door behind me? Yeah. I will make sure, if we start your project, what are your plans for your animals? Because the last thing I want to do is your dog gets out. Right. So once again, if you build that trust on the front end, the distrust goes away.
I love that. So let's talk a little bit. Let's kind of get into the nitty gritty about building trust, right? So Travis, we can say all day that we're trustworthy. You can trust us. We've been in business for a long time. Look at our faces, you know, but how do we really show that? And, you know, I think our building trust is in our actions, not just our words. So give me some examples of how you build trust.
Okay, so one example, and we try to teach it to everybody on the team, and this goes for any company, is you pull up to the house, you do your best to stay out of the driveway. I don't care if your vehicle's a 2025, something could leak on it. Sure. So you stay out, you park in the street. If you can't, okay, then you talk to the homeowner. Do you need to get a car out? I want to make sure I'm not blocking you. I don't want to slow you down. So building that trust. Then if you are on the street, do not walk through that immaculate yard. Walk around.
If you see lines, they care about their yard.
And I'm gonna promise you, they care about their yard. I used to care about my yard until I ran out of time, and my lines were always straight. And if you walk through my yard, I get upset. Sure. So you walk around. You go to the front door. You make sure you're presentable. You got to have some trust. If you come up, you show up to a house and I hate to say it, sometimes we are dirty because we come from another job. Right. Try to be presentable. Yeah.
Carry an extra shirt with you, right? So to change it out.
And then your surroundings, when you're walking up to the house, when you look through the front door, if it is open, do you see signs of animals? Do you see signs of kids and specifically babies? Yeah. Is there a gate? You go into that house, for some reason, The homeowner takes you downstairs. You ask, do I shut that gate? That is building the trust that you're looking out for their well-being.
Yeah. So it's not that, and really you're kind of like reading the room,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you're like paying attention to your environment. What might be important to the people that I'm trying to earn their business as a client? What's important to them so that I can demonstrate that it's important to me too without them having to ask. Like no person that we work with that invites us into their home should ever have to ask one of our technicians to put shoe booties on, right? Yeah. That is a standard in our company. And that's the first way to build trust. We care about your floors. We care about tracking, any dirt or mud through your home. We care about those things. What are some, something that is important to me is kind of being an open book, right? And so we talked about in our business, and we're talking a lot about HVAC, I feel like, because we can relate so well. But in our business, one of the distrust things is, are you just going to try to sell me a new furnace, right? I don't want somebody. We actually received a referral through ChatGPT over the weekend, and the woman asked ChatGPT, who can I call that won't try to sell me a new furnace? And we popped up, she called us, and we've earned a new client, right? And so that's a big area of distrust. And so one of the things that we talk about is we're going to give you all your options, right? Yes. You will have an option to do nothing. Yep. You'll have an option to make a repair. You might have an option to do maintenance. You'll have an option to replace. But really, if we don't provide you with all these options, then we're just making the decision for you, essentially. Yeah. We're saying like, hey, we're going to give you 1 out of 4 options, and that's what you have to do. And so by being an open book and presenting that, it takes that like, oh, you're not just trying to sell me something, right? You're giving me all my options so I can choose.
Yes.
Right? Do you think that is the same in other businesses as well and other services?
Well, it should be.
Yeah.
It should be, and it better be. You should always have options. If I took options away from you on any facet of in your life, you do coffee shop.
Sure.
We've only got black coffee. Well, I wanted a cappuccino. Well, guess what?
Too bad.
You're only getting black coffee.
Yeah.
So therefore, yes, in our industry, we want to give those options. It doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter the repair, doesn't matter the replacement. We have to give those options to build that trust, because right when we don't give one, they're going to say, have a second opinion.
Yeah.
And they say, well, the other company said you should have repaired it or you should have replaced it.
Sure.
And we didn't give them that option. And then how does that make us feel? Not good.
Well, and it's suddenly like they question you then, right?
Your trust gets broken.
The trust is broken because why didn't you tell me about this, right? One of the, say you have a homeowner who is selling their home and we were just out doing maintenance on it and something popped up on the home inspection. It's like, well, you were just out. Why didn't you tell me about this? That trust wavers a little bit. Yep. And it was something that was like, oh, well, it's just a little missing Armaflex, or is it just a little missing this? No, we have to be proactive in discussing all this, bringing it to attention, showing all the options. You don't have to do anything with it, but we want to make you aware of it.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that. You don't have to do anything option.
Yeah.
That's still trust.
Yes.
You do not have to. We cannot make you.
Right.
You're not forced to.
Right.
But here are your options.
We'll take a photography business, for example. I'm 45 years old, so it used to be that when we would go get our pictures taken, we would pick out what pictures we wanted, and they would come as prints, right? And we would have these different sizes that we wanted.
Now, we're not talking Olin Mills, are we?
Well, I mean, we had Olin, well, we didn't, but I think we each had family Olin Mills done before. Sears, like that was a big one, JCPenney. And so you would get these prints. Well, now, most of the time you get just digital files, and then you can print yourself. But I think there's that expectation, and where people lose trust in an example like that is if they go in expecting to get, say, I'm going to get a 5x7 and an 8x10 and a 4x6 print with this package. And then you get to the end of the shoot and you get a thing where you have to go do it yourself. In the business owner's mind, right, we're giving you options. We're giving you all of these to choose from. You can print whatever you want. But over here, we weren't clear from the beginning about what it includes. And man, I really wanted something just to take home and stick in a frame today, right? And so you have that, and then you lose that trust a little bit. Well, it was a good experience, except, right? So as a business owner, how can we get rid of all of the except, right? All of the buts, all of the and just make it a raving experience from the beginning, right? Now, I'm going to talk about a little bit with social media, because I think another way that we can break down trust is by having a social media presence. You aren't on social media yourself, but you're really on it because of me, right?
Yes. I'm forced to sometimes.
You are. are. And it's funny because whether you like it or not, people start to build a relationship with you over social media, and they start to trust you. They see your lifestyle. They see what some of your values are. They see your character.
And what you're,
they see your family.
It makes it more real.
It does.
And I'm not a social media person at all.
Yeah.
I don't have it on my phone.
Yeah.
I have none of it.
Yes.
But it makes someone real.
It does. And you inadvertently discover that you have maybe something in common with other people. Like you're a big mountain biker, right? And so you connect instantly with other people who mountain bike. Those are things that social media can show that maybe the average person wouldn't know about you, right? And so as a business owner, I would really recommend that you have a strong social media presence on your personal page, on your business page. People want to know who they're working with, and they will start to build trust with the person that you are, not just what your business is.
Yeah.
You know, so just stay tuned. Every time I always say like, let's take a picture. Let's get something. He's like, oh my gosh. And my whole thing is I was like, when I die before you one day, you're going to be so glad that you have my whole social media page and all of these pictures.
But I got about 10,000 pictures.
You do.
Today,
you do.
So.
It's great. All right. So let's kind of wrap up today on our talk on trust with how do you know when you've actually earned somebody's trust?
Well, the number one thing for me is when you get to sit down and have coffee on the couch. If someone offers you coffee, you've broken through. And it happens all the time. And my response when they ask, I said, if it's an inconvenience, no. They're always like, no, it's not an inconvenience. So you know now that you've got, whether you get the job or not, that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is you've got their trust.
You know, it's kind of like you said, you just went from being a stranger to being a friend.
I've been many a times, I've been in a house and the sales call process was over in about an hour and a half, but I was there for 3.5 because now you're talking about anything other than HVAC for us.
Yeah.
I love it. A lot of people just want to talk.
Well, and think about this too, like in our business and so many other businesses out there. I mean, there's a ton that we can name off. If you are in somebody's home, to be invited in somebody's home and to make that move from being a stranger to more of an acquaintance to a trusted advisor, really, that is a huge step. I love that. Man, if you're invited in to have coffee, you've earned their trust.
Or food.
Or food,
you're suckered in. If it's food, you're in. But that's for me, it's a big one. If it's coffee and you're sitting down on the couch, and you're shooting the breeze, you have at least gained their trust.
I love that.
Yeah, they may not buy from you, but you've gained their trust.
Right.
They know that they can call you back.
Right.
So Renee, how do you know if someone's earned your trust? Because you're a pretty tough one to break through.
Well, I'm going to take that as a compliment.
It is, but you're definitely, me and you are totally different when it comes to work at our house, for example, or buying something.
Yes, I'm way more skeptical.
Yeah, oh yeah, and I'm more connectable, I guess, in so many words. So it's the truth.
You're nicer. You're more social. For me, I stopped focusing on price. And I've noticed that people who work with us stop focusing on price when they really trust you. And so at the beginning with distrust, it's all about price, not being taken advantage of.
100%.
Don't rip me off, sort of thing. When you've earned somebody's trust, or when somebody has earned my trust, it becomes more, man, I've got the most reliable person. Man, this person is the best at what they do. This person's an expert. This person showed up when they said they were going to. This person is fair. This person is honest. And so it becomes about something other than price. And honestly, price just kind of goes away.
Price is irrelevant.
It does. It becomes irrelevant.
We had and I'm glad you brought that up. We had a customer the other day. I was out shopping. And of course, I have my LCS sweatshirt on, and I'm at a disadvantage if I've not seen a customer in a while. He looked at me and goes, "You guys are the best." It's one of our customers.
Yeah.
Found out who it was. I'm like,
so
I felt bad because he saw me from a distance.
Yeah,
but his comment was, "You guys are the best," and I sent it to the company, sent it to the team.
And that's what makes you feel good. And that's when you know that's real success.
Yep.
Right? It's not, I got that job.
Yeah.
I got all that. Yes, as a business, we have to have all of those things, right? Yeah. But real success is when you get past the point of price.
Yep.
You get past that point and you build trust and you earn trust. I would really encourage business owners of any kind out there to work on a process for building trust, not only with yourself, but with your team and with your clients, and with your team working with your clients. So we've focused a lot on building trust with our clients, but we've got to do the same thing with our team, right? Our team has to know that they can trust us, they can count on us. When they ask something of us, we're going to follow through with it. Companies who don't have that trust built within their team, it's reflected in so many ways. They might have high turnover, they might have low connection rates or closing rates on sales. There's a number of things that could be affected if you don't have the trust built with your team.
Yep.
So we have that little tidbit with our team, right? Now, to finish up our talk on trust, let's talk about how easy it is to lose it, right?
Yeah.
Really hard to gain it.
Yep.
Once you have it, business owners tend to get complacent, or they assume that like, hey, I've built this trust, I have this trust, I'm good. And then they move on to something else and they lose it. How can you easily lose the trust of somebody?
Well, the one comment it's not a comment, it's a word actually, is our sales trainer. He says you can't have an agenda. So after you earn trust, and then your agenda is, well, I'm going to sell this box.
Yeah.
Well, what if that customer doesn't want that box?
Right.
So you can't have an agenda.
Travis, that's a really good point with switching to an agenda. So I will say too, if I have somebody that has been working on building trust with me, right? And so conversation's good, it's easy, they've been an open book. We've talked about kind of all the elephants in the room. I feel at ease with the process, I know what to expect. And then suddenly I feel like they've got a hard close, or they're trying to sell me something specific, or they're pushy. That makes everything that just happened seem like it was not genuine. It was fake, right? And then now suddenly I don't trust you again, right? And so we've come back around because you've switched to this agenda.
That's a 2 steps forward and about 20 steps back.
Yeah.
And it went from relationship building to trust to now it's transactional. And now I'm looking at you as you're a bank ATM and I'm about to get money. You do that and it's going to be over.
And once that happens, the ability to rebuild that trust, really slim.
And friends, families, and coworkers of that person know now that it's not good.
Right. Right. So think about, as you're thinking about building trust, how can you talked about not having an agenda. We talk all the time, and we learn this from our mentors and our trainers, right? Is we're here to serve people. We're here to find out, what do you need? What do you want? And how can we help you? We want to be the company that provides that for you, right? But it's not our decision to decide what that is. We present you with your options. We talk about budget and price and how much, what reality is for all of this. And then we do the work, and our goal, and you're going to know this up front, is to exceed your expectations. Right. And we expect your expectations to be high. We expect you to want 5-star service. We are going to deliver 7, right? And so that's where we go from beginning to end to keep that trust. And then after the sale, right, or whatever business, you've provided a service, you've made some sort of sale, you've done whatever. If suddenly you're MIA, nobody can find you, nobody can get a hold of you, you never check in, you don't, you're not available for any warranty work that might be there or whatever, all of a sudden that trust is gone again.
Gone.
Right? And
so, I mean, I've got a call coming up in a couple of days, same situation.
Yeah.
The other company's MIA, they can't get a hold of them. So now we're coming out to fix something. That's what we do not want. That's not how we operate.
No, absolutely not. And so take a company that operates that way. They're constantly going to be spending money and time in finding new clients because they're not doing anything to nurture their own customer base. And when you have a customer base that trusts you, those people are going to use you time and time again for projects that they need. They're going to refer you. They're going to share things that you might have on social media. They're going to give you nice, great reviews online. There's going to be so much that your existing customer base will do if you just invest a little time in building and maintaining that trust.
Yeah. And it goes back to, you're there for no agenda.
Right.
And then if there's no agenda, it's all an open book with the consumer. They get to choose what they want. It goes back to when I talked about PV versus AV.
Yeah.
That perceived value just went through the roofs of the actual value.
Yeah.
It's not a talking point.
Right. Which means price is not a talking point.
Price is not a talking point.
There we go. All right. Well, we have talked a lot about building trust in this month of love. It's so important all the time, not just here in February, right?
Yeah.
But it is something that, make that a key component of your business and watch your customer base grow. They say too, like the larger your customer base is, the more you nurture that, the less that you have to spend as a business in advertising cost. And so the average spend in our industry, they say too, if you want to kind of maintain your business, you're going to spend about 3 to 5% of your revenue in advertising. You're going to be somewhere between 5 to 7% if you want to grow, and you're going to be somewhere between 7 and 10% and 10 plus if you want to grow aggressively, right? If you have a strong client base that you are pulling from all the time and you're continuing to nurture and those people are referring you, your advertising costs should really be 3% or less. And so from a business standpoint, that's a big difference. All right. Well, I hope that you've taken a lot away from this. And I want you to think about how you can build trust and maintain that trust with your own client base and your team. My name is Renee Lucas. Travis, thanks for being here with me again today. And I will see you next time on the Lasting Business Solutions podcast.